Hello, everybody. Wow, we have a bigger group today. Welcome, everybody. This is Ellie. Hi, Peter. Hi there. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Mary. Mary, you seem very comfortable with your big mug. Gail, good to see you, Gail. Welcome to Chi Talk. And Bart, hi there too. And it's noon, and we're doing this Chi Talk with the energy talk, talking about qigong. The purpose of this call. Hi, Marty. Hi there. The purpose of this call is really to open a discussion about qigong, about different topics in qigong, about any question that you might want to ask about practice, about a specific thing in the practice, or just more philosophy, Taoism. So it's really kind of, I know that when I practiced Qigong, I connected with the movement, but there was a lot of stuff behind the scene. There's a lot of stuff that I wanted to know, that philosophy, or why we do this or that. So I decided, and I've learned a lot of it, and I read a lot, and so I decided to kind of do that, to enable people to like ask question, or share their own wisdom. So this is gonna transcribe into the podcast called "Awaken the Healer Within," and today we're gonna kind of we were talking about loss and grief, and today we're gonna talk about spring energy and about birth and transformation and growth. These are really very important things. We kind of like dealing with existential stuff right now. You have birth and death and things like that, and there's a lot of wisdom behind these topics. So what I wanted to start today, before we start, is to start with a little ceremony like we always do. So let's start by stretching one arm to the side, and with the fist, just tap underneath the collarbone and take a deep breath into the area that you're tapping, and exhale from the mouth, and feel like you're coming close to the sternum and tapping on the sternum bone. And just close your eyes and feel how it feels to breathe, to feel this area, just a light tap. And exhale from the mouth. These are acupressure points that are very good for immunity, to open the lungs. Let's do the other side. So let's stretch one arm to the side. Close the eyes. Welcome, Edward. I can see also with my eyes closed. Isn't that amazing? Exhale from the mouth. Nice. And then with both fists, let's knock on the sternum itself. And on the exhale, let's do the sigh, the heart sound. It's almost like you have a glass in front of you and you want to make vapor on the glass. You know, in winter, how can we make vapor? Using our breath. And release all the stress in the heart. So you're breathing into the area that you're tapping on, and you feel on the exhalation that all the stress, find a relief from this heart center as you exhale with a sigh of HA, like trying to do a vapor on a piece of glass in front of your face. Nice. And then let's lower the hands and put them on the lower abdomen, the dantian. And lower our breath into the lower abdomen. Relax the shoulders. Close your eyes. And let the breath be natural and deep into this area. This is our relaxation response. This is our rest and digest response. When the breath goes all the way down there, this is when you sleep, deep sleep, the breath goes down there. Soft, soft and deep. In and out from the nose. Put your mind in the space between the navel and the spine. You can look at the navel, feel the navel, you touch it with your palms, and also feel the spine right behind it. And see if you can construct a line of attention between the navel and the spine. If you can go deeper from the navel towards the spine, some area maybe closer to the navel feel easy to connect with. Some areas deeper in that area feels a little harder. See what you can do. To be very focused and relaxed and comfortable in this area. Very attentive mind into this area. Try to really grasp different parts of the Dantian. Rest in your breath. This is our center. This is our what we call Yuan Qi, original essence energy. This is a place of rest, of energy, of filling up your energy reservoirs. And in the springtime, it's really nice to come here because the energy tend to go up to the head. We're going to talk a little bit about it. So feeling the feet on the ground, feeling the legs, feeling the dantian, breathing into the legs. See if you can even feel that the breath, when you take an inhale, can lower the breath lower than the lower abdomen. See if you can breathe into your sit bones. Into your knees. Into your feet. See if you can, with very subtle breath, very fine breath, can really breathe into the feet, into the legs. Yeah, there's a whole practice called breathing into the heels in Taoist. It's a very beautiful breath practice. I teach it sometimes. To breathe into the heels. It's very, very good. When we breathe in, we take energy from the universe. When we breathe out, we give energy back to the universe. What do you want to breathe in? What type of energy? And what do you want to share with the universe? Nice. So let's open the hands to the side, palm facing the front, and opening the eyes. Oh, beautiful. I hope we all kind of came into a relaxed state of mind. So what I wanted to talk today is about spring energy. And but I also wanted to open the conversation to any questions or sharing, and talking about the idea of birth, of transformation, of change. And this is really the energy of the spring. And give a little bit of tips about spring energy, what to eat in terms of Chinese medicine, and all these kind of wisdom things. So first of all, the liver, the energy moves from the kidney to the liver. The liver is the active organs of the spring, and the energy tends to rise up. There's very strong energy. So our mind, our eyes and our mind are connecting with the light. Yeah, this is why when you travel across the world, you have jet lag, because even though we turn on the lights at night and we kind of feel like we're not connecting to nature anymore, we are still connected to nature, and our body senses the seasons, and our body senses the day and night. And when the light gets, there's more light outside, like now especially in the northern hemisphere, our mind and our body gets that, and the energy start to rise. We start to get more energy, and that energy, liver chi, tend to go upwards, and it's kind of like the energy that brings birth to the flower, to the new growth. So from a seed, if you look at grass, it punctures through the concrete. It's like you coming from the ground so strongly. So in one way, the energy is very strong, very much ascending energy. And the grass is also very, if you touch the grass, is very, very flexible. Like the birth is very flexible, right? The grass is not stiff, even though the ascension is very strong. The grass is very, so all the stuff in the spring, all the new growth is new. It's very flexible. It's very malleable. And this is to tell us how we kind of should be in, how do we give birth to new things, to new projects. If we want to change anything in our life, the spring is a really good time to do it. Why? Because the energy is rising up, our body knows it. And if we don't do anything with it, it creates what we call liver chi stagnation. So it creates tension in the body, especially around joints and small muscles. This is what the liver governs. So actually, it's very good in the spring to exercise, to start new project, if you have like a New Year resolution, it's really good to start new things, to give that energy a route, because otherwise we feeling overwhelmed. The sense of overwhelm, this energy, this emotion, start with liver. Yeah, if we feel stuck, if we feel like we cannot start something, we are too overwhelmed, that brings us into agitation, into anger, internal anger, and then that kind of taxes the rest of the organs, from anger to hate, to sadness. So all the entire circle of the organs, the emotions. So really what we want to do is to go into more of action in terms of physical activity. More physical activity, connecting with nature would be very important in the spring. Going out, wake up early in the morning, so things like that. Eating a lot of greens, dandelion greens are really good for you, good for liver. Everything that is bitter is very good in cleansing the liver, supporting the liver chi. Liver chi is the energy that wakes up us in the middle of the night. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, that's liver energy. And very good before going to sleep is chrysanthemum tea. Chrysanthemum mixed with mint tea would be very good combination, synergy for liver. So mint tea is cooling, chrysanthemum is very good. If you have honeysuckle, and you can find it, honeysuckle tea would be very good. So the honeysuckle flower in Chinese medicine with chrysanthemum, with mint, would be a great remedy before going to bed for liver qi. So supporting your liver. And overall, you want to not be stressful. I know it's hard, but the liver governs stress. So stress, the evenness of your emotion, we kind of talked about a little bit last time. You know, if people are kind of like have emotional swings, that usually connected to liver qi. So the evenness of your emotional energy is being this is the job of the liver. So if the liver is taxed, it's really hard to, if you don't sleep, if you're grumpy, this is really hard. So we want to be very, so in one way, so this is this is kind of like the yin and yang. On one way, we want to have ascension upwards, kind of like the trees, that's the wood element, have goals, have new project that we start. And on the other hand is to be really flexible to what life brings us. You know, and you know, the pandemic is a lot of people use the pandemic as an example, but it is, because what happens in the pandemic is that all of a sudden you got something that you didn't plan and you didn't want. I didn't want the pandemic. Nobody wanted it. But how do we, so there's resistance. When something come into your life and you're not wanting it, it's not in your plan. Or if you really have a strong desire for something, and it doesn't, and at some point it doesn't go your way, you're very angry. And that's liver. So liver is kind of like the tree. We want to find flexibility. So something comes your way, you want to lean, okay, so what does the universe tells me? Yeah, so that's really the balance of liver chi. We want to be straight on our goal in life, but also open and listen to what the universe brings us. Okay, the universe brings me this, the pandemic. Ooh, okay, well, that's a present. If I see it as a gift, how my project how do I navigate through life? And really, this is the practice. We did it a lot of time in the beginning of the year. I didn't get a chance to do it this year, the workshop on manifesting, because I was busy with family stuff. But really, manifesting is understanding that the water, the river doesn't flow from point A to point B in a straight line. If you look at nature, it just meanders. If there's a rock, we cannot puncture through the rock. It's going to be crazy. We have to, the water finds the path of less resistance. And so this is how our path life. If you have a project, don't expect it to go exactly the way you planned it. We have the plan, and then we have what happens. And this is really kind of like what the liver this season is kind of teaching us about flexibility of the tree. I mean, it's kind of like an old teaching, and being straight on the goals. And then if we take into consideration that things are going to move us left and right, we're going to be not quitting. It's very easy to quit if things don't go our way, right? All of a sudden things don't go our way and we are, okay, this is too much. So really this is the teaching of spring, of growth, of manifesting. And there's a lot of things behind it. In terms of physical practice, the physical practice in our classes from now on would be devoted for that combination, for flexibility and strength. So a lot of the movements are very linear. They're all taking care of the joints, because the joint, people tend to have more joint problem in the spring. Yeah, there's stiffness. If you're looking at a person, the emotion is anger. If you're looking at a person that is angry, what do we say is stiff, right? Try to be very angry. You all of a sudden get into this position, like stiff. So when you are flexible in your mind, flexible in your body, you're going to be, okay, you can open up a little bit more. So that's a little wisdom from, so our physical practice is going to work on tendons, on ligaments, on small muscles. It's going to be a lot of practices with the rib cage, with the We're going to do liver breathing, things like that. And really focus on what we want to give birth to in this season. So this is a little bit of wisdom of spring energy. Eating greens, again, bitter is very good for producing bile in the liver and cleansing the liver. So the liver is really a really big organ in the body and very, very important. It cleaning toxins, not only environmental toxins, but also emotions are being seen in Chinese medicine. Negative emotions seen as toxins. How can we not get triggered? That's a practice of asking ourselves, asking how do we change? Yeah, the secret, the Taoist secret of changing ourselves is to really ask ourselves, because our triggers is us thinking a certain way about certain things again and again and again. We're just repeating the same thoughts that we have, the same belief that we have. Starting to question that would start to change our life. What is your certainty? That's really powerful practice, by the way. What is your certainty in this belief? You know, and especially around new projects, around things that we want to change in our life. What is your belief in what level of certainty you have in it? Are you, this is 100%? This is 80%? This is 50%? What is the certainty that you have in this belief, and how can you, and is that true? Can you change that level of certainty? Is that absolutely true? No, this is just you. Yeah, so working with the mind in that way, finding flexibility in our thoughts, yeah, and the sense organ that is associated with the liver is the eyes, the vision. And so a lot of problems with eyes connect with liver too, but also the inner vision. Visualization is very important in the spring, like visualization. What are we going to see for ourselves in the future? What do we see? When you start to imagine yourself in the future in a certain play or doing certain thing, when you start repeating yourself, the mind's, you guide the mind into a certain way. So this is kind of like, we can talk a lot about the kind of like the technology of change in Qigong and Taoist tradition, working with mind, working with the body, working with the emotion, but this is kind of like the foundation. So I just wanted to share that, and I wanted to open the conversation to you to see if you have any questions or anything to share. Yes, Mary, that was a fast hand up, but unmute yourself.
Knowing that it's so best to go to bed early and to rise early. My whole life, I have been a night owl. Mm-hmm. And I have tried and tried and tried and tried. And I dance around here till 1 o'clock in the morning, even though I got in bed at 9:30. And it's just, I know that's so important, but maybe that's just my pattern. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's interesting, right? So how many hours do you get to sleep, by the way? Just
when I go, I try to get 8 hours no matter what time I go to bed.
Okay, so you get your 8 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think that if you go to bed very late, but you get your 8 hours of sleep, that's perfectly fine.
Really? Okay, because there's some schools of thought that say, no, you're missing the important thing of the morning and blah, blah, blah. And I've tried it, but it's not my rhythm. It's just not my rhythm, and it hasn't been since I've been a teenager.
Yeah, and then so, you know, again, we have our melatonin is starting producing at 9 p.m. and it stop producing our natural melatonin at 1 a.m. They say that 11 p.m. is the best time to actually get a very deep sleep. But look, if you change your 8 hours, if you don't have any problems if you get a really good sleep in 8 hours and you change your clock a little bit south, that I think that's fine. Okay. As long as you get, yes. And I think Gail is there also cheering you up, so. Yes, 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 yes. Anybody else wants to say something or ask or participate in any way? Yes, Peter, go ahead. Good to see you. Second time, Peter.
Good
Yay.
to see you too. Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, I really, first of all, I really appreciate your comment to Mary, because I've studied and practiced yoga and Ayurveda much longer than I've practiced Qigong and traditional Chinese medicine. And there's sometimes a tendency in Ayurveda and yoga to be more strict, about the type of question that Mary was asking. And I really appreciate your response, um, because in my comment I talked about the Constitution. The word Constitution comes from Ayurveda, but we also have to look at the five element theory, and where we are, and if we potentially have some imbalances. Um, I'm a person who absolutely loves to sleep. I love to sleep. And but I live in the Midwest. I'm 3 hours ahead of all of you. I'm in Michigan.
Mhm.
So finally, the sun is coming up much earlier. So I'm getting up much earlier.
Mhm.
Whereas in January and February, I'm retired, and so in January and February, I have no problem sleeping till 9 o'clock because I don't want to get up in the dark, because my body talks to me about the energy of sunrise. And I'm already finding myself just in the beginning of March wanting to get up, or feeling the need to get up a little bit earlier, just
Mhm.
with those rhythms. So I really appreciate your comments about, to Mary, about not being strict about this. I think you just need to listen to your body.
I
Um,
I agree with you.
um, I,
And
but I do have a question, and I hope it's
mhm.
considered related. I don't know if it's related. It's about a practice. Um, the question is, do you practice cloud hands? Why or why not?
uh, if I practice, what is the
Cloud hands. Cloud
uh-huh,
hands?
cloudy hand? Uh-huh.
Cloudy hands. Do you practice cloudy hands regularly?
I practice it. Yeah, it's a very good regularly. Yeah, I probably practice it once a week at least. Yeah, this is a very beautiful movement. It's really good for emotional balance. It's very good for balancing the body emotionally, and it's yeah, that would be. Are you asking about like whether to practice it or?
No, no, no. I do practice it because I am very, very fond of it, and I feel that it um, uh, gets the whole body. Well, I have a feeling it addresses all five elements
Mhm,
and potentially balances all five elements. And
mhm.
I personally think, and I'm no expert by any means, I personally think that it can be done any time of the day, any season of the year, in any direction, whatever your primary element is. And I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so Cloudy Hands is a very famous and very well practiced Qigong practice. One of the movements that are the most famous on, there's a lot of variation on it. It's kind of like, a very popular pop song that everybody does a cover on it.
Mhm.
And why is that? Because it's just so good. It's just so successful. It's just works so well on, like you said, on so many organs. It's specifically related to the heart, and but it balances the whole body. It's balancing the whole system. And there's many techniques of doing it, and I love it. I used to do it every day for a long time. A long time ago, I used to do it every day. I had a teacher that we did it a certain way, and he was very particular how to do it. And yeah, I love it. I think it's great to practice cloudy hands. Maybe we'll do some more of a zoom in on cloudy hands on Thursday class, just because you brought it up. I usually do it more in the summer because it balances the heart energy. It's really, whenever you're putting your hands in front of your body and move it in front of your body, it balances the yin side of the body, and it balances the emotion. This is our yin side of the body, so it's more about emotional balance. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Thank you very much. Let's explore together on Thursday, I say. Anybody else? Any other sharing questions before we close? We have one more. Gail, yeah, go ahead. You're new to Chi Talk. Welcome.
Thank you, Ellie. This has been for me a fairly difficult time, what with the crisis, chaos, and indeed death that has arisen in my world as well as the world. And with that, I find that my daily routine has been interrupted, and I've retreated. And I've retreated from your practice, any practice, basically. And I recognize that I've been depressed. So I'm slowly kind of emerging, much like the new green of spring. And I was delighted that you're giving this talk at 12 o'clock because, like Mary, I'm not a morning person. And I'm sad that I miss your morning routines, but I can do them if they're recorded later on according to my own cadence. I'm finding now that my emotions, even though I know the techniques as a healer, as a teacher, as a counselor, just because I know it doesn't mean that I'm not affected also by it in perhaps a non-constructive way. So if you have any thoughts with regard to a particular, how do you say in Qigong, what to do to ameliorate this overwhelm, this sadness, this grief, the changes that are happening too fast, that are overwhelming, I would appreciate it, because even if I did one exercise, something to begin to integrate me back into a discipline that I loved and did for so many years at the JCC.
Yeah.
Now in my own little world here, I find myself as if my inner child is saying, no, I'm not going to do anything. That's terrible. And I know it's self-judgment, but it's the truth. And so whatever you suggest or whatever ideas you have, I so appreciate the bounty of your mind, your expression, and your willingness to be so abundantly giving.
Thank you so much, Gail. And it's such a pleasure to see you. And thank you for speaking from your heart so authentically and so with so much, elaborate things so well. And I think we can all relate to what you say and what you feel. We can all relate strongly to what, and so many more people. And this is why I really appreciate your sharing that. And what from my experience, because we all here are doing a very similar journey, is what helps in overwhelm, what helps in depression is, for me, what I suggest is to do something every day that is time limited. It's very small. It doesn't have to be an hour of Qigong or doing something, but taking something. There's a certain posture that I teach for depression, a Qigong posture and breath that you could, and if you'd like, let's connect one-on-one and I can show you that. But doing something just for a short period of time, but committing to it every day, something that you can commit to every day and that has a strong effect on your body. Let's say cloudy hands or any breath practice. I know that Mary wants to. Mary, go ahead. You really have to.
I have to go. That's why I want to say something, especially to
Okay.
Gail. I relate to that.
Okay.
Someone told me, and it's really made a difference, and it's really worked.
Okay.
When times get tough, you get what you practice. And that made all the difference. If you can get into a practice, no matter what, you will be lifted. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Mary. And I think something that is not overwhelmed for you, but you can repeat it, and it's something that you do, and it could be 5 minutes a day, and something very small that you do it in a certain place, in a certain time, and the best is when you wake up, or it could be any time. But starting in a small step of doing something. And it doesn't have to be a class on Zoom. It could be a breath practice, or a visualization, or a movement practice. But it just but that practice has a lot of, that gives you a lot. Maybe you go outside and do it. Maybe you go in a time that you actually feeling, I think the morning is, depression usually is hard to get up in the morning or get out of bed or like start the day. So I would say, if you force yourself to get out of your house and look towards a certain tree or a mountain for 5 minutes and do something specific, you're getting a lot of benefit. Does that make sense? That would be my suggestion, is to really break it and to have a smaller step and to commit to something that is just few minutes. And it could be the inner smile. That's very good for depression. There's things that are very good for overwhelm and a place like depression or sadness, that I would love to show you, Gail, one-on-one. But I think that something that has to do with breath, with holding a posture for a long time, just holding a posture to see how much you can hold it for, and for 5 minutes or for 3 minutes, and that's your challenge practice. And that's it. You just do that and see from there, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, after a month, what's happening. I won't tell you, you'll see what's happening, but you just do something very small that is a little challenging. It's challenging, but it's very short. It's just like a few minutes. How's that sound? I think that would be great. So, okay, so thank you so much, Gail. I'm so glad you came here. And I don't know if you know, but the last time we talked about death, and we talked about death, and I experienced death in my family. So I kind of like talked about death from that perspective. By the way, I just wanted everybody to know that there's a series of Netflix that I highly recommend watching, and it's called Surviving Death. Highly, highly recommend. I didn't know if you guys watched it. It's 6 episodes, and it's very healing about death. It's called Surviving Death, and was a real blessing for me to watch it. Anybody watched it, by the way? Just lift your hand if you watched it. You watched it. Okay. Amazing, right? Beautiful. All right, guys, let's put our hands on the heart and close this circle, and close your eyes. And let's finish with hands on the heart. And breathing into the heart. And soothing the heart, smiling into the heart. And when you exhale all the way out. And just a note on depression here is that our exhalation is compromised. When we're feeling depressed, our exhalation is compromised, meaning that if we want to heal that, we want to exhale all the way out from the mouth. Meaning that there'll be no more air inside of your lung at the bottom of the exhalation, unlike usually when we keep some air inside. So exhale all the way out, slowly. And what you notice is that the inhalation is much more invigorated. Yeah, depression or sadness is really compromising the ability to let go. Let go is the exhalation. So see the bottom of the exhalation. See that you exhale all the way out. And feel the air coming in. Nourish your lung and heart. Yeah, this is... And let's lower the hands into the lower abdomen again. And do the same here. Exhale all the way out. And as you exhale, you notice that the navel comes closer to the spine. As you inhale, the line in between the navel and the spine, this imaginary line that connects the navel with the opposite point on the spine behind the navel, that line becomes longer on the exhale, on the inhale, and smaller on the exhale. Especially when you exhale all the way out, see if you can really push the navel towards the spine and get all the air out. And let the breath in, celebrate the breath in as it comes in. Celebrate that openness of the breath. Nice. And yeah, it's depression is a big one, and connection would be really the opposite of healing depression. Connection, coming here, coming to class, coming to a talk like this. This is really expressing how you feel. Communicating would actually release that energy. Communication is the job of the heart, and that would heal the lungs. We have a strong connection between depression, which is connecting to a lung chi, to the heart, which heal the lung. So connect to something you love, communicate how you feel. Nice, beautiful. Let's open the hands, open the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you, and come again. And please connect with me if you need to. I'd love to assist you in every way I can. So thank you so much. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Peter, Marty. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Bart. Thank you, Edward. And I see you in class tomorrow. Yes. Okay, bye-bye.